This is Support is Sexy, episode 541, with Johnetta Paye, president of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elaine Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I bring you inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and lessons to help you take your business to the next level. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm so excited to have you here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. And today, I can't wait to share this fun interview with you from Johnetta Paye, who is the new president of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Now, in this episode, we talk about the powerful work that the Tulsa Real Estate Fund is doing. Johnetta tells us all about that, but I also want you to listen to Jonetta's story. You know, we're all about story around here, and she really shares what she went through to become an attorney, the tenacity, the commitment, the resilience that she had to use to stay focused on her dream and to see it through and to find new ways or different ways of accomplishing it. Sometimes we think it doesn't work one way, it's just not going to work. Not in Jonetta's case and not in your case either. So make sure you listen out for that. All right, so I'm happy to present this one to you. I know you're going to enjoy it, be inspired, and also have a few laughs too. So now without further ado, Johnetta Paye. So Johnetta, thank you so much for joining us for an episode of Support is Sexy. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Excellent. So our first question, when did you first fall in love with entrepreneurship?
I think I first fell in love with entrepreneurship at 11. I started my first business then. It was a home cleaning business, and I cleaned homes for elderly individuals.
What inspired you to start a cleaning business at 11 years old?
So I grew up in a house where money was tight. My parents and I'm an immigrant too. And so, they worked really hard to provide what they could for us, but, there were things that they just couldn't afford. And so I just felt like having my own money and starting my own business was a way that I would be able to acquire things that my parents, weren't able to provide for me at the time.
Where is your home country?
I was born in Liberia, same with my mom and my dad and my older sister. So my dad was the first one to immigrate to the U.S. for school. And then a year later, my mom came. And then about a year and a half after that, my older sister and I joined them in Minnesota.
So did you see anything? I understand things were tight financially. Did you see anything around you, would you say, that made you think, oh, I'll start a business like so-and-so? Or was it just something that you think was in you?
It was just something that was in me. I've always been determined and driven. And whenever there's a problem, I just figure out a solution. And so for me, I was like, oh, okay, where we live isn't too far from a home where there's senior citizens and they might need people to clean for them. So I just created a little flyer. I walked over, I asked if I could post my flyer in the senior home. And then people started to call me.
I love it. And then the business was born.
Yep, the business was born.
How long did you do that? Do you remember?
Yeah, I did it until I could actually start working, until I turned 16. I had a couple of regular clients that I would go to their house and clean every weekend. And then when I could actually start working and get my first official job at 16 in the mall, then I stopped.
What did it feel like for you to make that first whatever amount of money?
For me, it was I think whenever you start a business and you see that it's starting to be successful, it's just wow, the concept really works. And so that's kind of how I felt in the beginning. But then also my older sister got in a car accident or something, I can't remember, but she needed to borrow $100. And so I was able to give her the money from my house cleaning business. So just being able to help my family and provide for them was, I think, for me, when I realized, wow, entrepreneurship can really help me provide for my family. And I felt a sense of pride and accomplishment.
Mm-hmm. And I think that feeling doesn't go away no matter what age you are, 11, 97, just the idea that, oh, this concept works. I actually have a business here.
Yes, I totally agree.
Now, how would you describe yourself? Obviously entrepreneurial, but overall or otherwise, how would you describe yourself as a young person growing up in? Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Minnesota, and then I left Minnesota at 18 to go to college. And then I spent a substantial number of years in Chicago. And I would say that's where I really discovered myself in Chicago and all the things that I was capable of. But people in my circle would say that I'm very kind and giving. And I really care for the people that are around me and that are in my circle. But I also care about people that aren't in my circle, obviously, being involved with like the Tulsa Real Estate Fund and then just being a lawyer.
So what would you say that you found out about yourself or something that has been most revealing to you about yourself since going to school in Chicago? You mentioned during that time it sounds like a big growth period for you.
Yeah. So prior to that, like in African culture and just in my life in general, family is a big thing. And so I've always been around family and I've always had that support. And when I moved to Chicago, it was me. Like there was no family there. There was, so it was a different like lifestyle. And I learned that I could really make it and figure things out on my own. And I learned it made me stronger and independent in a way that was necessary, I think, in sense of entrepreneurship and being a business owner.
Now, you mentioned that you're currently a lawyer, but I know that journey wasn't easy for you, right?
No, it was not. It was a struggle.
And I read that you were denied, was it 25 times or entry to 25 law schools?
25 different law schools. So, me, I've always gotten good grades and I've always tested well. So I'm like, okay. And when you come from an immigrant home, it's not like you have somebody in your family that's gone to law school or gone through that process or went to business school and they can tell you like what you need to do to successfully make it happen for you. So I was just like, well, I got into college. I tested well on the ACTs, SATs, whatever. So this can't be any different. So I studied on my own. I thought I could rock it out that way. And then I wrote my personal statement, what I thought was, an effective personal statement. And then I learned like, no, this isn't going to work. So I applied to like 25 different schools. I didn't get in the first time. And it was really disappointing because that was like the first time in my life that I had ever really been something didn't work out for me. I was so accustomed to just, setting a goal and then it happened. And this was the first time that it didn't happen. So, and then I had like my family and my friends, they were like, okay, well, you tried, you applied, it's not going to work out for you. So why don't you consider going to grad school and becoming a psychologist or doing something different? And I was like, no, it didn't work out this time. But I think if I try it again, it will work out the second time.
And did it?
It did, but I had to adjust my strategy though. I had to get a mentor who had, who was a lawyer who had gone through the law school process and he helped me to write my personal statement and he really like grilled me and he's like, Johnetta, like really think about what you're saying and grammar and all that stuff. And also like I networked. So there were like people who had gone to different law schools and they helped, they wrote letters of recommendation to me for like law schools that they had went to. And then I also saved up my money to take a LSAT prep course. So that way I could score higher on the LSAT since I didn't the first time. And that was like the main reason I didn't get accepted. And so, doing the work and, building that network of people who had successfully done it before me, I think is the reason why I was successful the second time. But also like having that belief in myself too, that it was possible, because I think in life, just generally, it's how you bounce back from disappointment. And a lot of times I think people let disappointment just keep them down and then they don't try or continue to pursue, but you gotta get over that and you got to like keep pushing. And that's the same thing with entrepreneurship. A lot of things aren't going to go right, but you just got to take the good with the bad and keep moving towards that goal or towards that dream.
And I think to your point also, what you did, and you said you but you adjusted your strategy and thought, okay, the way I did it the first time didn't work. I'm going to get support, which we're all about here, but get support and help and seeing a different way of approaching this, but still going after that vision that you had of going to law school.
Yeah, and you can't like be prideful. You have to say, okay, I tried it, it didn't work. What can I do differently to ensure success?
Right. So now you get into law school. Was your plan to go work for a law firm afterward? And what school did you get into finally?
So I went to John Marshall Law School in Chicago, but I got into a couple other ones. But I went to John Marshall Law School in Chicago because I was already there. And so it just made sense for me to stay at that point in my life where I was. And so I did the evening program because that was another reason why I went there, because they had an evening program, because I needed to work while I went to law school. I didn't have the luxury of being able to go full time and not work. But a lot of people tell you that you should go to law school and not work. And having worked and gone to law school, I will agree with that sentiment.
But you were doing what you had to do.
Yeah, I was doing what I had to do. So that's where I went to law school, John Marshall Law School in Chicago.
So what was your plan then after law school? Was it to go to a firm?
My plan was to work in-house for a media company. So I had worked as a law clerk for Tribune Company in Chicago, which is a big television, print media company in Chicago. And so I had hoped to be able to go work for like Sony, Viacom, MTV, because I've always been passionate about entertainment and the arts. And I've always liked helping people. So I was like, if I'm not going to be an actor, an actress, or talent myself, how can I use my skill sets and my passion for helping people in that industry? So my goal was just to work in-house for a media company. And I applied for jobs at all of like the top entertainment law firms in the country. And I just couldn't find a job. But also when I graduated from law school, it was in 2008 at the height of the recession. So a lot of lawyers were getting laid off. So I was competing in the marketplace against people who had like 20 years of experience. And so I just got tired of the rejection. So I was just like, and I had just finished, because I was also working at Senator Obama's office in Chicago and the campaign office. And so I was transitioning from that and I couldn't find a job. And I was just like, if nobody's going to give me a job, I'm just going to create one for myself.
And what did you end up doing in creating one for yourself?
So January 1st, 2009, I started my own law practice. I sent an email out to friends and I said, hey, look, I'm starting my own practice. If you know anybody that needs legal service, and these are the types of things that I do, let me know. And so I started building my team. I started marketing and, just doing things necessary to start a business.
And that was in 2009.
2009, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you still have that practice today?
I still have that practice today.
Amazing. And what was the response like when you sent out an email to people to let them know that this is what you were doing?
People were really supportive and I was surprised, almost kind of, I guess, like when I started my first business at 11, because like you never know you have something until you start to see like the support. So even there, like I was really surprised at the support. And, when I started my business, I had like no money. Like I couldn't go to my parents and be like, can you like spot me some money to like start this business? And I had bills due and I had rent. So it was vital for me to make sure that it was profitable so I could pay my rent and I could pay my bills. But I also didn't have any money. So I had to do a lot of like bartering. And so it was just amazing to see like people who were willing to build a website for me in exchange for legal services. Or I had friends that were graphic designers and they were willing to like design my logo for me and just really help me get started.
And that's a way of supporting each other. Like
Yes.
you have skills and expertise that you can offer to them. They have expertise they can offer to you. So for everyone listening, even thinking about that, when it makes sense, everyone's not going to want to barter, but sometimes it makes sense. You lay it out. I'm sure you would say this as a lawyer, make sure it's specific about what you're giving and what they're giving, but it's possible to think of a way to work it out. So you're not just still sitting around 10 years later saying, I'm trying to get my website built.
Yes, I would definitely say that. And when you put it in writing, just make sure you quantify like the value, right? So if I'm giving you like $500 worth of graphic design service, then make sure that person is giving you $500 worth of like legal service or whatever the barter is. So that way you make sure that everybody's getting the same value.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say then was the catalyst for you becoming now currently president of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund while you're running your own law practice?
So, like I said, I've always been passionate about entertainment and business. I know because I've, started a business at like an early age and I had to start a law practice. But those things don't always pay the bills. And I knew that if I learned real estate, I could get consistent income. And so I think one of the things that is a theme in my life is having like mentors and people who can support you along the way. And so I paid a mentor to teach me the real estate business. Like, how do you do real estate closings? How do you write certain contracts for, different real estate transactions? And I paid them until I felt comfortable enough to like start doing it on my own where I didn't need them anymore. And so the real estate side of my business started to grow. And I also believe in learning and continuing to educate yourself in your space and networking. And so I was up late one night working like at 1 a.m, 2 a.m. And I usually like listen to something on YouTube as I work. And so this morning, I was listening to The Breakfast Club and I heard Jay Morrison's Breakfast Club interview. And I was like, oh, he sounds really knowledgeable about real estate. So then I started to follow him on social media. And
he is the founder, for everyone, of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund.
Yes, that's correct. And so then after following him on social media, I saw that he was hosting a networking event in Chicago on a Saturday afternoon. So I paid my $100 to, attend the networking event. And really, I was just going to learn more about real estate and, network to acquire more clients in the Chicago market. But after the networking event, I went up to him and I handed him my business card and I asked him if he had any business cards and he said no. But he said he would get in touch with me. And I was like, yeah, right, whatever. I've heard that before. Mm-hmm. But I still gave him my card anyways. And I think like a week later, he emailed me and then we just kept communicating back and forth by email. And I explained like the value that I could bring to his company at the time in my legal capacity. And I volunteered literally for, I think like more than 4 months. I would even say like half a year. Like I volunteered in my legal capacity for his business just to show him that I could bring value to his company. And then from there, it led into a paid position with his company.
So from volunteer to becoming president, or you went through other positions before taking on this current position?
I went through other positions before taking on this current position because at the time, Tulsa Real Estate Fund was just an idea. It wasn't a tangible business yet. And so for me, becoming involved in Tulsa Real Estate Fund, I have an equity interest in the company. So that means I own a percentage of the company. Mm-hmm. And that was because I took a risk with Jay and the other founding members of this company because we had to build something that he had as an idea and then manifest it and turn it into reality. And that was like a 2-year journey, building Tulsa Real Estate Fund with like no pay, like nobody on the company like got paid to build Tulsa. All we were banking on was their equity that we would receive if the company became a reality and was profitable.
And two things for everyone to make sure that we catch from what you've told us of your story is one, going back a little bit, that to get into the real estate business or to do well in the business, I should say, you hired a mentor, which is something people don't talk about, I think, often enough. Of course, there's mentors who just want to give you their time and expertise and you, whatever kind of arrangement you have. But there are people who will allow you to, and it might be wise to pay them for their expertise. So it's not necessarily the same as a coach, would you say, that you're, seeing every week or every such and such, but you're getting valuable information from that person about that industry.
Yeah, and just somebody to walk you through, like, if you have a question, then like you can call them and they're there to assist you, and they're really showing you. It's kind of almost like you're an apprentice, but you're paying to be that person's apprentice. And that's how like the law profession worked in like the beginning. We didn't go to like law school. You just worked side by side with an experienced attorney until you learned how to be a lawyer.
And then the other part of that is first you pay to get support from a mentor, and then you volunteer to be a part of this organization, which you'll tell us more about, Tulsa Real Estate Fund. So again, for everyone listening, it can look a lot of different ways for you to get to whatever the vision is or what you want to be a part of. And you're evidence of that on both ends.
Yes, you have to be willing to invest in yourself, whether you're looking for a professional experience or whether you're looking to, build a business. But I just feel like you have to be willing to invest in yourself, and investing in yourself can be volunteering to get an opportunity or paying somebody to mentor you so that you can get access to different opportunities.
So what is the goal of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund?
So the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, and this is how it was pitched to me when I first decided to like volunteer my time. And it's still the mission of the company to this day. But basically, Jay had an idea to start a real estate fund that one made it easy barrier for low income individuals to invest. Because a lot of times with these real estate investment funds or REITs, like the typical entry price is like $2,500 or more. And the average person doesn't always have $2,500 just to like say, okay, I'm interested in becoming an investor or learning how to build generational wealth, but I don't have this $2,500 to like invest in something. And so, or investment price point is, or minimum is $500. And that's something that, can easily be saved or people can come into. And so that was one of the reasons that I was excited about this particular project. And then the other aspect was the social good aspect is, rebuilding urban communities, like fixing up or real estate and just giving people a sense of pride in their community. And I was like, oh, this is really cool that you want to build something like this. And I'm so down to support and help you build this business and make it a reality.
So is the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, so that I understand, something that's open to the public? So like you said, it's giving access to individuals who might not normally have access to something like this.
Yeah, so it's open to the public. So anybody can invest in Tulsa Real Estate Fund, irrespective of your race. Well, age, you have to be 18 because you have to sign documents. But outside of that, 18 and up. No matter where you live, no matter what profession you're in, no matter what your level of knowledge is, it's open to everybody to invest. And
is there no minimum?
The minimum is $500, only because we have, costs that we need to expense to sustain the business. And so we try to make it as affordable for everybody as we could, while being able to cover like costs that we need to cover to keep the business going. So our minimum investment amount is $500.
So how long has the fund been around at this point, or been an actual business?
We launched the fund on January 1st, this year, 2018. And so that was just really exciting because I remember Jay just having the idea. Then in 2017, we went to a crowdfunding conference in Las Vegas, and we were the only Black investment firm or real estate investment firm at this conference. And at that time, Tulsa was still an idea. It wasn't a reality yet. Are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought I lost you for a second.
I'm here.
But it was still an idea. And I remember like the people in the room telling us that we wouldn't be successful and that our idea of selling shares at $50 a unit or $500 minimum was just like, it wasn't going to work. It was just like a joke. And so to... Oh, sorry. I said January 1st. I meant to say June 1st. So I just want to clarify that for your listeners that we started the business on June 1st, not January 1st.
June 1st, 2018.
Yes.
Very recently, because we're talking in August. Yeah.
Yeah. And so to go from that experience in Vegas where everybody was telling us the fund wouldn't be successful, and then to June 1st, when we opened the fund for investment and just seeing like the amount of people that were investing and just the dollars go up, like within like the first hour, we raised $1 million. And then, you know, it continued. And then within a week, we were at like $10 million. And it was just so overwhelming to see something that people said you couldn't do and that you worked so hard on for like 2 years to make a reality and then take it to the public and just see their overwhelming support was amazing.
Now, what was the reason, would you say, other maybe than misunderstanding what the mission of the fund was, but what was the reason you think people were saying it's not going to work, you're not going to make it? Just feedback in general, just so our listeners can know what kind of things they might hear, even if they don't have a similar business, but the fact that you can hear those things and still your vision could be possible.
Because we were doing something that was outside of the norm and the standard in the industry. And I think whenever you challenge the standard quo or whenever you challenge like the industry norm, then people are going to say no, because there's nothing out there yet that has been proven to show that your business model or your concept can work. And that's like part of being a business owner and part of being an entrepreneur. You're always taking a leap of faith. You're always saying, I believe in this thing. And now you have to prove that that thing can work. You have to prove the concept.
Mm-hmm. And now going back, so from June 1st to we're almost mid-August now, the fund has gone, at first you said it started $1 million. Now it's at 10 million, or is it more at this point?
It's more at this point. So, I mean, we are capped at $50 million. So until we raise $50 million, people can continue to invest in the fund. So every day the amount is growing and it's going up. And so the plan is and we're looking at real estate assets now that we're looking to deploy the capital in to start, making a return for our investors. And the fund, when you become an investor, you get an 8% preferred return, which basically means that your preferred return gets paid before the fund makes any money. And then we also do a 50% split of the profit. So you get, your percentage of that 50% of the profits. And that's something a lot of funds don't do. So that's another unique aspect of Tulsa Real Estate Fund.
And are you able to tell, and also are you able to say if the fund is reaching, or the opportunity, I should say, to invest in the fund is reaching the audience that you all intended? So some people who may not be, like you said, of the means of the traditional fund investor.
Yes, fund and that's all marketing, right? And so that's one of the things that we're really good at or strong at as a team. And Jay's like a master marketer and a master salesman. And so we've been able to reach our target market because we just have like strong marketing minds within our company.
But do you see that those are the people who are you able to tell, I should say, those are the people who are actually investing in the fund, in addition to, I'm sure, other types of people as well?
Yeah, we can definitely tell, because in order to become an investor, you have to supply certain data. Mm-hmm. And so from the data, we can definitely tell that the people that we intended to reach are the ones who are investing in the fund.
Excellent. So what would you say is your personal hope or goal to accomplish as president of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund?
My personal goal would be just to build something, or to make sure that Tulsa is something that gets into the history books, right? Because we've had different examples throughout history of Black economics, but they aren't like successful examples. So, for example, Marcus Garvey and the Black Star Line. I mean, he raised money to buy a ship, but then his business went down because, people said that the business engaged in fraud. And there's other examples of where Black people came together, African Americans came together to collectively pool their money to do something positive in their neighborhoods. But we don't really have right now in the history books like a successful example of that. And so my goal is to make sure that Tulsa Real Estate Fund is a successful example that people can look back to and be like, wow, when African Americans come together and really pool their money together, we can really have a significant impact in our communities.
Mm-hmm. And now where is the fund based? Are you not based in Tulsa? Is it based in Chicago?
Yeah, so no, it's based in Atlanta. We're headquartered in Atlanta, but the inspiration behind the name Tulsa
Black Wall Street?
Fund, it was the original Black Wall Street.
All right, excellent. So based in Atlanta. So are you in Atlanta now too?
Yes, I am in Atlanta.
I just left Atlanta. All right, nice.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes. Very
Any
nice.
plans to come back?
In a year. I'll be traveling for a year.
Okay, well, if I'm still here,
right. You're like me. If I'm still around.
I travel too, but I don't have any plans to go. You said you're in Spain right now?
In Spain right now.
Okay, yeah, I don't have any plans to go to Spain anytime soon, but I did go to Dubai and Italy like earlier this year.
Nice. I haven't been to Dubai, but I love Italy. Well, I did. I heard Italy's having some things going on now, but it's beautiful.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Excellent. So what would you say your support network looks like, either personally or professionally at this point?
I have so my family has always been really supportive in my professional goals. So I think that's always been really important for me, even like though they couldn't really support me from a financial standpoint, but they were always there for me from an emotional standpoint. And entrepreneurship is hard. It's like something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Right. And I think like the mental fortitude, because you have like highs and lows and, just like days where you just like, I can't do this anymore. And just having that emotional support, I think is really important. But more than that, I have like a really strong, like support system of friends. Like even like my best friend is like sitting across from me right now as I do this podcast.
Hey there.
Hey. Excellent.
And like he set up lights because we thought it might be a video interview. So he set up lights.
I love it.
Looked great. And, made sure he tested my audio to make sure I'm sounding great. So I just have like really amazing people in my life that just support like my dreams and my initiatives and what I'm trying to do. And honestly, I don't even think and believe in my talent because sometimes like you don't see how talented or gifted you are, but other people see that and they push you to greatness. And I just have an amazing circle of people that believe in my talents and believe in my ability. And they're always there to like push me and challenge me to go to the next level. And support is also like telling you when you're not doing right or like you need to get yourself together, because Eugene many a times have told me like, look, you need to get your whole life. But right. Having a strong support system, because you don't want people just to feed you positive and not, give you the real truth either.
That's right. I have a close friend, Lamont, who always said, I hate when he says it, but he always says to me, who are you being right now? And I'm like, oh, I know. I need to be a different person. I need to be the me I really want to be as opposed to whatever I'm being in the moment. But you need those people, like you said, who will call you out. Who are you being right now?
Exactly. That's important.
Yes. Now, what would you say entrepreneurship has taught you about yourself as a woman?
As a woman, it's shown me that I'm really, really, really resilient. That I can go through things and come out stronger and not be defeated by it. And I think that's been an important lesson that I've learned my whole entrepreneurial journey. But it's also made me grow, because I would say even the person because I moved to Atlanta like a year ago, and I would even say the person that I am now, in Atlanta is different from the person I was a year ago in Chicago. So it just forces me to go to the next level as a person. I'm a better listener now as a result of having to manage a team of people, because you have different personalities, different work styles, different needs. And in order to effectively lead, you need to be a strong listener. So that way, the people who are working with you feel like they're getting the support, the encouragement, or what they need to be successful to help your business enterprise. I am definitely a faster thinker because I've been put in situations where I have to come up with solutions like super, super quick. Mm-hmm. And so I'm a faster thinker now, but I think I'm just a better person. I don't know. Eugene, do you think I'm a better person?
Oh,
tell the truth, Eugene.
Of course. No, I wouldn't lie on a blog.
Not on a blog.
A podcast.
Okay, no, I wouldn't lie on the podcast.
Okay.
If we weren't being recorded, I would tell you that. She's nothing better.
They say entrepreneurship is one of the best journeys in personal development. Like the two are aligned.
I agree wholeheartedly.
That and marriage.
That in marriage, I don't know, but I don't know that part of it. Yes, that.
I don't know that part yet either because I'm not married yet either.
So in closing, Johnetta, if you think over your life and career and you had the chance to thank only one person whose support was critical to you personally or professionally, who would that be and what would you say?
Oh my goodness, that's a hard question because if I answer this question, there are going to be people in my life that are going to be like, Johnetta, like all the things that I've done for you, you didn't mention me.
And Eugene is sitting there looking at you.
Yes.
All starry-eyed. Okay, one person other than Eugene, we know you love and respect and appreciate him.
Can I do two?
This is your answer, sure.
I would have to say God, because, I have a strong sense of faith, and I don't think that I would be the person I am today or where I am today, or even like the journey that's ahead of me. I don't think I would be where I am without God. And so that's one. And I know everybody has different spiritual affiliations, but for me, I strongly credit my destiny to that. And then I would have to say, I'm not going to name anybody specifically, but I want to thank my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters, Eugene, Wando, and Giles. So my friends and family.
Excellent. That was a good answer. So now what are the ways that we can support you? Tell everyone, I'll have links to websites, but tell everyone websites we need to know, any social media or anything else going on you want us to know about right now.
Yeah, so on Twitter and Instagram, my handle is at JPAYEESQ. So JPAYESQ on Twitter and Instagram. And then on Facebook and YouTube, I think it's JP Law. But in terms of my own practice, I'm always doing free legal chats. So if you have like a legal issue that you want to talk to an attorney about and don't have like a lot of resources, you can schedule your free 15-minute legal chat. And I'm really good about answering complex legal questions in like 15 minutes. And so you can definitely book one of those if you need to talk to an attorney. And then on the Tulsa real estate side, I think at this point, it's just really like just supporting, because since we've launched, it's been good. When you're successful in something, a lot of times that can cause a lot of scrutiny and a lot of critics. And I think that it's interesting to see how people are willing to criticize people who are trying to do something positive for the community based on their own personal bias. And so I think just even if you don't invest, but just like the emotional support, it is important because we have a dedicated team of people here working hard every day to support the mission of Tulsa Real Estate Fund. And just knowing that people are rooting for us and cheering for us and trust us to invest in the fund is like amazing. And you can check us out at TulsaRealEstateFund.com is our website. And we're also TulsaRealEstateFund.com on social media. I mean, Tulsa Real Estate Fund on social media.
Excellent. And that's a beautiful request. Like you said, sometimes it's just knowing that people are out there supporting you in the face of, well, the things you are challenged with as entrepreneurs or as a business and a new business, but just then the people who are still probably doubting that it's going to be successful. So I accept that request. I'm sure a lot of people will make sure we reach out to you and let you know that we appreciate what you're doing. And on your website what's your website address? I don't think you gave us that.
Where you can book your free legal chat is jpaye.com.
jpaye.com. Excellent. And I will have links to everything. Johnetta and Eugene, thank you both so much. This was so much fun to hear from you both, and I appreciate you sharing.
And Eugene will be listening to see if his sound bites made it.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much for inviting us on the podcast.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Now,
and enjoy Spain.
Thank you. Now, before you go, what's a parting piece of advice from you to our listeners about anything?
I would say believe in yourself. Self-belief is a really amazing thing. And no matter like where you come from, I was born in like a small village in Africa. And to think that I could come from that and be a president of a, $50 million real estate fund, or even start a successful law practice after being rejected from 25 different law schools, it was self-belief and determination in it. When you believe in yourself, like you can, and it's meant for you, like your life can really transform, but you really have to have a strong sense of self-belief.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Johnetta. Make sure to find out more about her, to find out more about the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Just go to supportissexy.com. Go to that search icon at the top and type in Johnetta, JOHNETTA. Her show notes page will pop up with links, resources, all the ways to get in touch with her. Again, find out more about what she's up to and about the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Supportissexy.com and just search Johnetta. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Until we chat again, always remember, support is sexy, and having it all doesn't mean doing it all alone. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.